Buongiorno. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the second day of orientation. We're online. I know that Benedetta will activate the closed captioning. She's very good at that. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here on a Saturday. I'm so sorry again about my voice. It's a little bit getting better, but still like a little low. But thanks, Benedetta. And good morning, everyone. And today we're going to talk about very important messages from the American Embassy of Rome. We have a nice and great presentation by Benedetta about race and gender in Italy. Buongiorno, Benedetta. We're going to talk about traveling in Italy, and we're going to give you a few tips about places where to go. And how to get there. And of course, you're more than welcome to ask all the questions that you have, either in the chat. We have our fantastic staff answering your questions, and also at the end of the presentation, if you have any questions, also not related to the today presentation. We're going to start right away. Because we have a few messages from the US Embassy of Rome. They gave us this presentation and they would like us to show you. So we start with this video.
Over 30,000 students visit Italy every year. We want all of you to have a positive and safe experience. Have fun, be smart, and behave responsibly. Register your overseas travel plans at Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, STEP. The registration information you provide will help us to contact or find you in an emergency. Petty crimes such as pickpocketing, theft, and purse snatching are serious problems in Italy. Mind your bags and pockets. Practice situational awareness when walking home or in unfamiliar surroundings. Stay alert in crowded areas. Always keep your eye out for any suspicious behavior and people. Be alert when you travel. Many students go wild during their semester abroad. Binge drinking while in Italy can present many problems. We have heard from directors of study abroad programs and seen for ourselves cases where alcohol has led to wild behavior, poor judgment, theft, sexual assault, missing students, hospitalization, and even death. This has created negative stereotypes about American students, and students have faced consequences including arrest and expulsion from their programs. In Italy, you are the face of America to the Italian people, so be a good ambassador. If you violate Italian laws, you may be fined, arrested, imprisoned, or expelled. Your U.S. citizenship will not help you avoid arrest or prosecution. The U.S. Embassy cannot bail you out. An arrest or accident during your trip abroad can result in a difficult and expensive legal situation. Getting ready to travel to Italy. Familiarize yourself with local laws and customs in the areas you plan to visit. Be alert. Always be careful with your belongings. Remember to look out for your friends and exercise good judgment. Use the buddy system. Designate a non-drinker. Do not accept drinks from strangers. Respect local customs. Overindulge in Italian culture, history, language, and politics. The Department of State has a wide range of resources available for your use. Enroll in the Smart Travel Enrollment Program, STEP. By informing us about your trip to Italy, you help the consular section locate you when you might need us the most. Enrollment is quick, easy, and free, so enroll today to receive travel alerts and notifications. Signing up should be a big part of your travel planning and security. If your passport was lost or stolen, apply for a replacement passport in person at a U.S. embassy. No appointment is required. Bring some form of government identification, such as a driver's license, one passport photo taken within the past 6 months, and complete a passport application form. A consular officer will assist you, and remember to protect your passport. If you're the victim of a crime, seek medical attention from the nearest Italian hospital. Call the police, call your school administrator, and call the embassy. If you're arrested or in legal trouble, notify the nearest U.S. embassy or consulate. A consular officer can assist you. The American Citizen Services Unit also offers a full range of emergency and non-emergency services for U.S. citizens. No matter where you are, stay connected with the Department of State.
And this was the video. I just want to mention that today school will be open from noon. So, and at 1:30, we're going to have the internship meeting. And at 2:30, we're going to have the volunteer meeting for those of you who are interested in volunteering while in Rome. Not again. Just for you to know, the Charge d'Affaires ad interim at the U.S. Embassy of Rome is Dr. Smitham. He's been here since 2019. He was supposed to be here for just a year, but then pandemic started and he's still in Rome. A few tips from the U.S. Embassy. Remember that you need to respect the Italian laws. That meaning that we have some differences between the Italian and the American law. Some of the things that might be legal in the States might not be legal in Italy. And once you're in Italy, you have to respect Italian laws. I know it's very obvious, but sometimes we understand that if we come over here, we don't think sometimes we're in a foreign country with a different culture, different laws. And that's why we think something it's illegal. So make sure that you know the basic of the Italian laws and to respect Italian laws. One of the main differences here in Italy is that police have the right to check your ID and to stop you anytime. For example, you're walking on the street, you're taking the metro, you're going to get a bus, or they just stop you and ask you for identification. You might think, what's going on? Why are they stopping me? What did I do? No, it's just a regular check that the police have the right to do it here in Italy. What you do, you just show your Temple ID, Temple Rome ID, your state ID, you have your driver license, whatever you have. And of course, very gently, you said that you're a student here in Rome. In Rome, as we said, you don't want to carry on a daily basis your passport, but just a photocopy of it. Now, just for you to know, the law says that you should carry your original passport as a foreigner. But since we don't want you to lose it, to misplace it, you want to keep it safe in your apartment, when in Rome, just leave it in the apartment and bring a photocopy. If the police, most of the time, the police is really nice. They won't ask you to see the original passport, but it's okay. A state ID, a driver license, and you just say that the passport it's in a safe in your apartment. If they insist they want to see it, just keep it in mind. By law, yes, you should carry. So if they really want to see it, just say it's in my apartment. We can go and get it, or I can go and get it and bring it to the police station and show you. So it's all good. Just want you to be aware of this. Most of the times, the police says a state ID, a driving license, it's fine. Okay. Make sure that you mind your bags and pockets. It's one of the problems that we have here in Rome. It's about pickpockets. Since now tourism is getting back to Rome and everything is getting back to normality, I don't want to say that pickpocketing is the normality, but it's part of the what was happening before. But sometimes it might happen in a big city like Rome, like Florence, like Naples. If you wherever you go in Italy, you might experience this. So what you want to do? You want to mind your bags all the times, especially if you're on a bus, metro. Keep your bags, your value in the front, in the front pockets. Make sure that you have a practice, some sort of situational awareness. Sometimes if you are in a crowded bus and metro, you want to remove your earphones, or you want to put like the music lower so you know what's going on around you. Okay. Home and hotel, we already said yesterday, we're going to repeat again. Secure it. Every time you leave your apartment, you want to lock it, not just pull the door, you lock it clearly if nobody's inside. If your roommate inside, you don't want to lock your roommate inside. But if everybody's out, you're the last one leaving the apartment, lock it and close the windows. Never leave anything available in a vehicle. As you know, as a Temple Rome students, you're not supposed, you cannot rent and drive cars under the age of 25. So you shouldn't have this problem, but just in case, never leave anything valuable in a vehicle. If you have a drone, Rome is a no-flight zone. So if they see you flying with the drones in Rome, you can get a huge fine. Designated a non-drinker when you go out. It's like in the States, even if you're not driving, but you want somebody to be aware of what's going on. Benedita will talk more about this in details, but I just want to repeat this, because if you go out in a group, 5 people, you all drink, and somebody needs to have the situation awareness. Somebody needs to be aware of your surroundings, and somebody has to lead the way home. So please make sure that somebody, when you go out, designate a non-drinker. And then as always, we say at night, take a taxi home. Don't even think about a night bus. Use the buddy system. Yes. Never take drugs or drinks from strangers, meaning that sometimes all the things that you see here, they're here for a reason. They're here because these things happen in the past. And the US Embassy had to deal, not only Temple Rome, because us as well, but also the American Embassy had to deal with these problems that you see here. Sometimes you go to a bar, a cafe, they offer you a drink. No, never leave it unattended, and never take a drink from a stranger. You want to take a drink from the bartender hands. You see them, how they prepared it to your hands. Public restrooms, public bathrooms. If you're in a club, also go with a friend. Never go to a bathroom in a club by yourself. Go with somebody. Okay. These things, I know this sounds very obvious, but if they're here again, there must be a reason, because bad things happen in the past. The emergency number that we already said many times, but we want to repeat, your 911 in Italy is 112. So if you have an emergency, you want to call this number. Now, the number will dispatch your call to the type, depending on the type of the emergency. So you want to make sure that you say your name, where you at, but what is the emergency? You need an ambulance, you need police, or there's a fire. So depending on the emergency, you want to say to the 112, because they dispatch the call to the ambulance or to the police. Make sure that when you call the 112, I know that if you call that number, it's an emergency situation and you might be really confused, but try to focus on where you at. The street number, the club, the name of the club. Make sure that you focus that. They speak English, but of course you need to be very clear, very slow when you speak, explaining the type of emergency and where you at and your name. Medical attention from the near hospital. Our emergency word in Italy is called pronto soccorso. So if you need medical attention and you're able to reach the emergency word, you can take a taxi and ask for the nearest pronto soccorso emergency word, okay? The emergency word, just to let you know, it's free for everybody. You don't need insurance, you don't need anything, you just go there. And of course, they handle the line of the emergency word depending on how serious the emergency is. Of course, if you go to pronto soccorso just for a bad headache, you might be waiting for 4 or 5 hours before a doctor will see you, because they have definitely other emergencies and more serious emergency to take care. So of course, make sure that you understand that, okay? The US Embassy has consulates in Rome, Florence, Milan, and Naples. Just for your information, every time you contact the US Embassy, you have 100% confidentiality. They cannot disclose your personal information unless you write it down and you allow them to call your family, the school, your friends. The number of the US Embassy, which is active 24 hours, is at 0646-741. It's also written on the back of your Temple Rome ID. It will be great if you can also save it on your contact so you have it ready just in case you need it. As an information, US Embassy has student internship, fellowships, and also career. You can visit careers.state.gov for more information. The US Embassy asked me to tell you that you represent America to the world. So have fun, be smart, stay safe, be smart most of all. And now I would like to introduce you one of our professor at Temple University Rome. It's Professor Lorenzo Rinelli, political science professor. Please read his email, because after this short presentation, he's going to organize a very fun activity that you might want to participate.
My name is Lorenzo Rinelli. I teach migration studies, border theory here at TUR, and courses that usually deal with migration, race, identity and culture in Italy. So the project I'm going to talk today is a large European project focusing on co-creating intercultural society with a focus on racism and discrimination. So the project is going to enhance respect and mutual understanding for cultural diversity in the city through intercultural dialogue, and to facilitate cultural participation on marginalized community in the city. The project is called Essere Fiume, being river, because it takes inspiration from the Tiber River in Rome and is developed within the river, along the banks of the river, in the most magnificent, important, probably archaeological site of Rome. There's a great opportunity for you not only to know the city in a different way, in a way you will never discover by yourself, also to participate in an experimental project is good on your CV. It is also a great opportunity to know and meet locals, to improve your, obviously, language skill in a very short amount of time, and to have fun while having fun, to know better the city with locals. Well, my name is Lorenzo Rinelli. I
Thanks,
teach.
Professor Rinelli. This is the event that this project is working on, Essere Fiume, on May 25th at 4 p.m. As you can see, 4 p.m. you will need to be in the Capitol Hill Piazza, Temple Rome, with other partners of Essere Fiume project. I invite you to join for a fun and engaging theater workshop, which will take place in one of the most evocative places of Rome. How you sign up for this? Email info and sign up for this event. Please email Professor Rinelli, lorenzo.rinelli@temple.edu. Now, before we go to the next presentation with Benedetta, I know that Maura is here with us, and she would like to say a few words, and then we go back with Benedetta. Maura.
Hello, thanks, Johnny. Welcome, students, again to this presentation. I just wanted to say a few words about housing rules and policies. I wanted to make sure that you understand that the policies for housing are to be respected. In particular, the quiet hours from 10 a.m. to 8, from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. are mandated by Italian law. So not respecting that not only means not respecting our policies, but it also means breaking the Italian law. We have a no overnight guests policy. So if you have guests at your apartment or at Campus, you must make sure they leave by 10 p.m. and you need to respect your neighbors. That means keep your volume down, keep it quiet, especially at night. Also because disorderly behaviors may result in the neighbors calling the police on you. And when the police comes, there's nothing Temple Rome or anybody can do to help you. So we want to avoid that kind of situation. We want to have a nice experience. We want to know our neighbors, to be friends with them. We don't want unpleasant situation to happen. One last thing I want to say, if you break these policies, the rules that you agreed upon before coming to this program, you will receive a formal warning on the first episode. And then on the second episode, you will be subject to a conduct process. The conduct process may result in fines, but also in expulsion, both from housing and from the program. So please, I ask you to take this very seriously and to respect the rules, to have the best experience while you're here in Rome. Thank you.
Grazie, Maura. Benedetta.
Thank you, Maura. Thank you, Johnny. Like, please, guys, it's very important. Please make sure to have the best time. You abide by the rules. Like, have fun, but also respect others. So, like, it will make your experience a lot better, and you will enjoy it to the fullest these 6 weeks. So, talking about these 6 weeks, I thought it was important to talk to you about the culture and about race, diversity gender, because you will observe different things and you may experience different things depending on how you identify, how you navigate this space. So as much as important to secure experiences, amazing pictures, it's important that you also protect yourself. So this kind of knowledge and perceptions with Italy versus the US, when it comes to gender race perspective and other issues, is very important because it will help you to navigate the city. I want to tell you a little bit about myself. So I was born and raised in northern Italy, near Milan, not far from Milan, about an hour away. And my family is originally from Ghana. So my dad came to Italy to study, and he did his university degree here, and I decided to seek better opportunities. So I was born and raised in northern Italy. If you hear a bit of the British accent, is because I studied in the UK. So I know what it means study abroad, and I know what it means navigating different cultures. And I hope you can take the best out of this experience as it was for me while studying abroad. So first slide, please. So how do we learn about a culture, especially if we haven't experienced it or we are experiencing for the first time? Maybe by the raise of hands or in the chat, you can put if it's your first time that you are in Italy, or you can put whether it's your first time that you left the US, or you can raise your hand, you can put it in the chat. And so probably you have developed some ideas about Italy while being in the US without experiencing Italian culture through media. The media helps us to experience and learn about other cultures. So probably many of you may have watched Lizzie McGuire. I hope you did. If you haven't, I guess I need to change examples. But if you have watched this Disney movie, you probably got a nice idea about Rome, how romantic it is, the fact that, yes, white was in your coin in the Trevi Fountain, you made a beautiful Italian singer, and so on and so forth. But remember that this idea is not very realistic. And also, you probably have watched as well the movie Eat, Pray, and Love, which shows you Italy being beautiful, being about the food, being about the wine, being about the lunches. So next slide, please. Of course, Italy, we have this stereotype. You may have stereotypes about Italy, but we have also developed stereotypes about the US, or I've developed an idea through media about the US. So, for example, when growing up, I would watch a lot of TV, and the first Black people that I really saw on TV and the best programs that I would see on TV was actually Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which still remains one of my favorite shows up to date, because I found it interesting. I found it hilarious as well, very educational too. And it was a show that helped me to understand that, oh, there are Black people in the West. So for me, it was very important show for me, and understood that there were Black people that were present in the United States of America. And I got to visit the US much later on in life. So for me, it helped me to kind of have an idea of what the US is about and its population. Also, I also learned about like US culture through various TV shows like The Gossip Girl, and what you always have through TV series, the party scenes, for example, the red solo cups. So you kind of learn about the different like culture, for example, although of course that does not reflect completely US culture in an accurate way. Next slide, please. So as the US is not only about parties and it's not only about fun, it's all, this the same applies to Italy as well. So Italy is much more than the pizza and the pasta as the US, as its politics and society, also Italy does have its politics. So if we look at the top picture, we see two men, and one is Silvio Berlusconi and the other one is Matteo Salvini. These are two men that have influenced a lot the conversation in Italy. And they're part of the right wing and far right wing, and they've influenced the conversation. And we will talk about more about how the conversation has been influenced regarding race, gender, and also sexuality. Also, Italy is in the middle of the Mediterranean. So throughout the years, since the 1990s, but especially more recently in 2011, but also in recent years, we have seen refugees coming from different places. So we have seen people coming from Syria, but also from Sub-Saharan Africa and Asia as well. So think about African refugees, for example. Also, Italy, you will see many of you are neighboring with the Pope. So you know, the Pope is very close to you. But what does the Vatican City represent? The Vatican, of course, represents the Catholic faith, but also represents as well what is left of the church power, because Italians may not define themselves as particularly religious, but the Catholic Church does influence a lot of education of the people within this country. Even myself, I'm not Catholic, I'm Christian, but I'm not Catholic, but I've learned about Catholic cultures and Catholic tradition while living in Italy. So when it comes to the churches play a big role because it plays with education, but also when it comes to politics, and they always have a say, especially when it comes to abortion rights, refugees' rights, and also civil partnerships as well in this country. Next slide, please. So it's very important that you realize as you go on that plane and you landed in Italy, you have a different country that has different cultures, and we're dealing with two different countries and different perceptions. And by the way, I also want to acknowledge as well that most of you are not from the US, also from other places like Japan or Russia or many other countries. So I use the US just in this case because we are a US campus, but please think about this compared to where you're coming from, compared to Japan, for example. Italy is more traditional, monolithic, and African homogeneous, probably a little bit more similar to Japan, for example. Meanwhile, the US is more pluralistic and multicultural. It's very important that we think about the history of the US. So the US was built on immigration, slavery, genocide of the natives, and meanwhile, Italy has an ignored colonial past, and immigration in Italy has happened in the last 30, 40 years, and there is still a quite strict citizenship law. So when it comes to the differences, it's important that we acknowledge that there are differences, and these differences impact the way we view race, gender, sexual orientation, and this does play a different role in the way people are perceived. Next slide, please. So I wanted to show you some data so you can visually see what we mean by differences in the population. So on this slide, you will see on your left, the slides regarding the Italian population, the data regarding the Italian population, and on your right-hand side, you will see the data regarding the US population. So Italy on paper looks like a not diverse country because you have almost 90% of the population that is Italian and 10% of the population that is foreign. And among this 10% of the population that is foreign, we have majority people from Europe, followed by people from Africa, Asia, and then from America, North and South America, and other countries and other continents. But the reality is this, that actually Italy is more diverse, but that it does not collect data on race. So for this reason, for example, for part of my life, I had Kenyan citizenship. So I will fall under the 10% of the population. But now that I'm an Italian citizen, despite being born here, it took me longer to have Italian citizenship due to the law. Now I go under the 90%. So the assumption of the 90% is that everybody that's Italian is white. So, but clearly I'm not. So the next, this shows on the side, on our right hand side, we see the US population, how much it has changed throughout the years. So we have in the 1980s, about 80% of the population was white. But when we fast forward to 2020, 57.8% of the US population is white. And the rest is about 18.7% Latino population, 12.1% Black people, and 5.9% is the Asian American. And we have also people with multiple races and also people from Pacific Highlanders as well. So as you can see, we have different populations in this case, but sometimes the gap is also due to the statistics that have been taken about each population. But as you can see, you come from a lot more diverse context. And also you can think about Japan, for example, think about like the population, the variety. Next slide, please. So we're talking about different countries and we have different conversations. So due to especially social media and news outlet, we are able to kind of have a global conversation about different issues. So when it comes to Black Lives Matter, here in Italy, we've seen last year, we had the European Cup, and there was a big discussion about whether to kneel or not regarding racism. And this was a huge discussion. The Italian team has decided to kneel, only solidarity with the opponent if they will kneel. And this can tell you a lot about how the race conversation goes around here in Italy. Meanwhile, when it comes to the US, we're seeing in the recent years, despite initial antagonism towards people like Colin Kaepernick, by 2020, we're seeing people more taking a knee in solidarity with Black Lives Matter. Also, when it came to the 2020 conversation regarding Black Lives Matter, in Italy, we see some privately protests all over the country, although there wasn't much news coverage. The top picture that you see in the middle, that's actually Piazza del Popolo. And it was full, like people, you see a lot of young people, you see the people, Italians from different backgrounds, you see people standing in solidarity regarding Black Lives Matter in the US and the killing of George Floyd, but also people that have brought up issues, racism issues present in this country. Meanwhile, in the US, as we see in the bottom image, the conversation has been going on for a long time, especially since the killing of Trayvon Martin. So that was in 2013. When it comes to the Me Too movement in Italy, it hasn't had that big shift, cultural shift, as much as in the US. In the US, we're seeing people taken to trials, we're seeing change in conversation when it comes to gender, for example. But meanwhile, in Italy, in the top picture on your right, you will see women, these are actresses that have spoken up regarding the Me Too, but they've never mentioned name of directors or actors that have perpetrated sexual violence and sexual harassment. Next slide, please. So, how do Italians actually perceive gender? So in Italy, although there have been many changes throughout the years, there's still the idea, the traditional role of men and women still persists. So overall, when even I sometimes my friends that now they have partners, they're living together, they're cohabitating, I often ask them, who does the cooking, who does the cleaning? And most of the time, it's my female friends that they do that. Although it doesn't mean that that's all relationships that are like that. But I was actually surprised because I thought that women that were raised around my same, women and men that were raised around my same years, there will have a change in dynamics when it came, for example, to household chores. When it comes to, unfortunately, there is a lot of misogynistic or homophobic attitude still present and unchallenged throughout time, although there's been some openness recently in Italy when it comes to gender roles and when it comes to LGBT rights. There is still kind of conservative opinions throughout the years, but we've seen also a slight change in the conversation. And I'll bring you an example. A few months ago, actually, I was watching the TV and I happened to see an Italian public figure. His name is Tommaso Zorzi, and it was on TV with his partner with his partner. His name is also Tommaso from a TV show, and they were being interviewed on a popular Italian TV show, talk show called Verissimo. And this definitely has been a change in conversation and narratives because still like 10, 15 years ago, you wouldn't have seen these kind of interviews happening on TV during especially daytime TV. But we've seen a slightly change. When it comes to gender, there is kind of this idea that is still binary as an idea. So pronouns, there are few people that now we don't really have a day in Italy, but there is still a conversation that is starting. But still, there is kind of always a binary idea. So when we look at the LGBTQIA plus community, the focus in Italy is oftentimes on the first two letters, the lesbians and the gays, but oftentimes when it comes to bisexuals and trans rights and queer identities, there isn't as much discussions, although they are started, of course. There's been approval of civil partnership in 2016, which allows same-sex unions, but we cannot call them marriages because they don't have the same exact rights. And when it comes to toxic, unfortunately, there is still kind of an idea still prevalent of toxic masculinity. And unfortunately, gender violence is an issue here in Italy. Even in the recent days, unfortunately, many women do lose their lives due to their partners oftentimes killing them, their male partners. When it comes to stereotypes, unfortunately, there is a clash between various cultures. So, for example, you will notice on the street, probably you observed already that maybe Italian women don't tend to smile a lot in the street. Why is this so? Because in Italy, we focus more on the non-verbal. Meanwhile, in the US, you focus more on the verbal. Also, please think about also the cultures where you're coming from after as if you focus more on the verbal or the non-verbal. But in Italy, for example, if you say somebody tells you like, oh, ciao bella, which is hi beautiful, you'll be like, you think like, oh, they're complimenting me. No, they're asking. So please, like, when they tell you ciao bella, like, just have the straight face. Do not smile. Have your best resting face, because literally this will avoid you a lot of trouble, because then people would think that's an opportunity to start chatting with you and start talking with you, and they would think you are interested. So please have your best resting face. do not really like strangers on the street in Italy, because sometimes people would think, like, they would think you may be interested. But this, by the way, this applies to both men and women. And so, like, yeah, just be conscious of your surroundings. Next slide, please. Oh, and when it comes to race, for example, in Italy, actually, the term race is not used. So we normally talk more about ethnicity compared to race. And this is due to the Holocaust. So the Holocaust has happened in Europe, and with the Holocaust, people have decided to not really use the term race, although we still see racialization happening. So in Italian language, we mainly use ethnicities. So when it comes to people of color are mainly still as immigrants, and oftentimes the assumption is that they are from lower class or poor. But for example, if people of color are from other countries, non-Europe or Italy, the assumption is, oh, you're rather like an immigrant or you're rather a foreigner. Oftentimes still there is some struggle in understanding that there can be Italians of Asian descent, of African descent, of various backgrounds, although the conversation right now is changing. So also there is a tendency to loop in all races together and simplify the perception of each race. So for example, when it comes to the Asian community, a term that oftentimes is used, it would be like, oh, Chinese people. When sometimes I even find myself correcting people and be like, how do you know that this person is Chinese? Like, you don't know, they could be from any part in Asia. So it's best to use the term Asian compared to Chinese. Also, oftentimes, race equals nationality. And unfortunately, there is still kind of some racism and xenophobia present in this country. Racial profiling does happen, and racial motivated crimes also do happen in this country. So be aware of your surrounding. Also, you'll be highly stopped more if you are male and foreign compared than if you're male and Italian, although overall the police stops everyone. Also, when it comes to, unfortunately, there is still the use of the blackface and caricatures of minorities, especially on TV and radio station. And the vocabulary is kind of different compared than the US. So in Italy, in the US, for example, you have the term POC or BIPOC, and in Italy, you have to also use the term Black. Meanwhile, in Italy, the term POC is been translated as di colore, but it mainly refers to Black people, and it does not refer to overall people of color. And when it comes, oftentimes, also another example is the fact that nationality equals the profession. So many housekeepers in Italy have Filipino background, and a wrong term that is used between Italian language is when you have to talk about housekeeping. Oftentimes the term used is Filipino, but actually it's a wrong term to use because it's stereotyping and also disrespecting our race. Next slide, please. Or nationality, sorry. So how does this translate in the media? So last year we saw the use of slanted eyes on TV on a popular TV show called Striscia la Notizia, and this was also reported by Diane Prada. And this was there was done this racist show on TV, and many activists have advocated against this. And the TV show tried to defend this act and tried to say that was not racist. And also we've seen titles on newspapers like Libero, which is a far-right newspaper, which is saying that oh, the earnings in this country are diminishing, but the gays are there are more gays in this country. Of course, this title is extremely homophobic. And we also see like programs that will talk about how to get a foreign wife, in this case, Eastern European wife. And this was based on stereotypes about Eastern European women. We're also seeing program on your top right, we've seen a program in which they were advising on how to do a sexy shopping as a woman. So to make sure that you look attractive and you perform. I don't know what they meant with that segment. I'm still confused, but that's okay. So, but this program was actually cancelled due to this advertisement. And also we've seen, unfortunately, the use of blackface on national TV and public TV, and also by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So on the bottom right, we have this program called Tale Quale Show, which is actually inspired by a US segment. I remember in the past we had Zendaya participating in this program, but yeah, this program, they do not hesitate in using the blackface. And also we see the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Last summer, there was a big joke about Istan, and this Stan was made fun of and used as a blackface caricature. And of course, this is wrong. And next slide, please. So we have seen a change in narratives, although this narrative is not a narrative that is longer accepted when it comes to gender and race. So we have platforms like Afro-Italian Souls. We have Kabi Lame, that probably you're familiar with on your bottom left, that is a popular Afro-Italian TikToker on the worldwide level. We have also Momoka, who she's Roman and she's of the Chinese descent as well, and she challenges a lot of stereotypes that there may be on Asian people and especially the Chinese community. Also, we have Ali, she is a Iji Abe. She is a Iji Abe. She wears a hijab, and she is the first woman to be the cover of an Italian magazine. Also, we have Francesco Cicconetti, who is a trans man, has been transitioning, has been talking about his transition as well. And we have women like Carlotta, who challenges the idea of what it means to be a woman, and has been talking about the feminist approach. And she's young and she does a lot of education on these topics and toxic masculinity, conservative culture. And many of these people do use social media to challenge the narratives that may be present in this society. Next slide, please. So this conversation, you're thinking, why are we having this conversation? We have a community. So something that affects one affects the whole community. So let's support each other. Let's also protect people, listen and support people. You may stand out, actually. You don't have to belong into a different race, to be a woman, or to have a different sexuality in order to stand out. Even just for the fact that you are American, you actually may see as foreign, you may see as the other. And let's also challenge our own stereotypes within our community and avoid microaggressions. So let's not make assumptions about people that we know within our community due to their background, due to their ethnicity, faith, or also sexuality. Let's challenge those thoughts and those communication. Please don't go up to people and say they're well spoken just because they don't look like what you imagine somebody talking well English well, or also like don't assume just somebody doesn't dress a certain way, don't assume their sexuality as well. Also, let's offer support when we can. Let's intervene. Let's support each other. And also, let's address people to the right support system as well. You are not alone in this program. If you have questions about these issues, if you observe something, please do not hesitate to come up to us. Next slide, please. So what you might experience, you may have noticed probably that Italians do stare a lot. The stare a lot is just a pastime. Oftentimes they don't mean to be mean, but of course, if you look different and you stand out, oftentimes Italians do stare. So not always the stare is mean. Sometimes I've been on public transportation and people are staring at my hair and I'm thinking, why are you staring at my hair for? Or like, why are you staring at me? Because oftentimes you don't know why people are staring at you, if it's because they don't like you or because they like you. So sometimes I'll stare back at people. Don't be shy. Please do it. And sometimes people will tell you why they're staring at you after a while. So for example, one time a lady was staring at me. I was staring back at her. At some point she was like, oh, but how did you do your hair? And I was like, thankfully, because I thought like maybe she could be racist. So I don't know. And so, but like thankfully it wasn't that. And also, yes, you will feel singled out, you will feel different. You may experience unwanted advances and catcalling. You may experience also racial and ethnic profiling. You may be misidentified. People may assume about your sexuality or about your race or gender. And also they may be, also there is an unspoken dress code. I remember yesterday, there was a question regarding dress code. So let's talk about dress code. The dress code rules are not like explicit, but they are there because we are a lot of this culture. So for example, let's say like today I'm wearing this top, my shoulders are showing. For example, this I cannot wear it if I wanted to go to a Catholic church. I could still wear it to work, for example. But if I go to a Catholic church, I will have to cover my shoulders in this case. You cannot also wear, and this applies to both men and women. And also you cannot wear shorts while going to a church as well, because I know you will have many of on-site visit as well. So you cannot wear shorts. So wear things that cover your knees. And this, please remember, applies to both men and women. Or if you decide to still wear something that shows your shoulder, please bring a scarf or bring something to cover, a jacket to cover your shoulders, to cover your knees, and then you can go on about your day. So when it comes also to a spoken dress code, something I wanted to talk to you about is, especially when it comes, you will see Italians during especially during summer, you would think like, oh, why they still dressed and covered? But this oftentimes happens to people that work in offices. So probably people will still wear a shirt or a jacket or long trousers, or they will try to balance. So for example, you wouldn't see oftentimes, like especially not your older people, like you would see them you wouldn't see a crop top with shorts, or maybe you see a crop top with long trousers. So oftentimes it tries to balance. Cleavages are not that popular here in Italy. Like people are a little bit more conservative when it comes to fashion. But when it comes to go to the beach, people over time are like the dress for the beach. They usually design certain kind of wear for the beach or for holidays. And but for the city, it's more like longer sleeves and not too much showing too much skin. Keep that in mind for your internships as well. Also, golden brown here is not quite popular, so just to keep in mind differences with the US. But of course, this is not to tell you on how you should dress. Please feel free to dress however you want to dress. Of course, just this is just to let you know that people will you may stand out because you dress differently, but please express yourself in the way you want to dress. And I saw Audrey Lee. Yeah, Audrey Lee was here. Audrey, would you like to share about this experience, or would you like me to read it out?
I can talk about it. I don't
Yes, please unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I was here not this last spring, but the spring before in 2020. And towards the end of the semester, it was getting warm. It was like April. And I literally just went like around the block to go get some groceries. And I was wearing this kind of like jumpsuit that had like spaghetti straps and short legs. And a guy literally held up traffic to pull his car over to the side, lean on the horn, and yell at me. And it wasn't like a cat call. It was like what are you doing? Like he was super, super mad about it. So I kind of had to learn about the unspoken dress code thing the hard way, but I guess whatever I was wearing just like wasn't in season, because I see people wearing it now, so it's probably cool now, but not that early in the spring. Crazy.
Thanks for sharing, Audrey. Like, yeah, I think that's important coming directly from a student. Like, yeah, what we Italians, we're very about seasons. So right now is warm, it's 27 degrees. So yes, we're going to wear like the romper. And thank you so much for sharing. People gonna wear romper, but when it comes to April, when we see the sun coming out, just go gradually. So April probably still the weather for the trench coat, for example. And yeah, so we go based mainly on the season more than the weather. And also you may experience some rudeness and ignorance as well. Please be patient with people, do not condone it, but also be patient with people. And I have Jennifer talking about unsolicited touching and romping as well, but I think Jennifer is going to focus on unsolicited touching. Jennifer is one of our AAs. She was a student here. Hey, Jen.
Hi,
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So we were talking about it, and we spoke about it in the past, and I wanted you to share with students about when it comes to touching, the differences between the US and here. So please go ahead.
Yeah, so I know you touched on this a little bit earlier about people staring at you, especially for your hair. Afro hair is very versatile, as many people know. As you see me on campus, sometimes I'm rocking a big afro and sometimes I'm twisting my hair up too. So, I'm changing it up often. And I've actually received a lot of positive experiences for the most part. Italians are very curious about my hair, and sometimes they'll shout out on the streets, "Oh, belli capelli," and just saying how beautiful my hair is. And sometimes they get curious and ask me how I do it and all these types of things. But Italians, as you could see, I don't want to overgeneralize, but there is a touch culture here, and sometimes they like to touch and just feel things. And so sometimes people do unsolicitedly touch my afro when I didn't give them permission to. So consent is very big, and it is a huge topic that we are still talking about in the US. And I don't see the conversation here too much in Italy, but it's something that for Americans, it can be a little bit weird for people not at least asking first before they pursue to touch or do anything. So it's good to just let people know what your boundaries are. If you're not comfortable with people touching you, your person at all, let them know. And they will respect that. But I've had experiences like that. It can be a little bit overwhelming, but just know that it's okay to just let people know, no, don't touch it. It's okay. Appreciate it from afar, but just let them know. So that's just my experience, and yeah.
Thanks very much for sharing, Jan. And yeah, just be aware of that. Talking about consent, be very straightforward with your communication. Make sure that nothing gets lost in translation. Be straightforward. Don't be shy in being straightforward. It's not rude. Just let them know that they shouldn't touch you, like your hair, your body. And especially right now, if you're using public transportation, I want you to be aware of your surroundings, people standing behind you, next to you, close to you. It's not acceptable that people will grab you on public transportation. So please let them know, let the driver know as well. So make sure, also look out if you're with your friends, make sure that you look out for them, let them know like, okay, here something is not right. So make sure you move close to them, move close to the driver. So you move away from people that try to touch you. Also being followed, don't touch me. How do you say in Italian, don't touch me, Lauren is asking. So saying, non toccarmi, non toccarmi. I'll write it in the chat as well, non toccarmi. The simple one is basta, basta. Like if you want to unmute yourself, you can also do it together. Is a basta, a strong basta, which means stop it. It will make people move away. They will be like, ugh, but like they will definitely get the message. So be very straightforward, and the basta has to be matching with your face and language. So you can't say a basta like, oh, basta, and smile. No, no, no. It has to be a basta, firm and clear. Also, be aware of the surrounding. You may experience being followed around. Please make sure that you look behind you when you're walking around. Be aware of people that are around you. Next slide, please. So it's important, be direct. Make sure that your actions are consistent. Please make sure that that happens. Next. So remember to take care of yourself, because you're experiencing a new culture. You may feel like the staring is too much. You may feel the touching is too much. You don't get the cultural differences. The harassment may be too much. So just please remember to look in the mirror and love the part of yourself that others may tell you that are different. Don't let those folks who want nothing more than to tame your experience by making you fear your difference control you. Because that difference is a fabrication, that difference is constructed. I wouldn't let me rob of my opportunities. These are the words of Khalid Jerry, who was a student in 2019. It is important always to reaffirm your identity, to reaffirm who you are, and remember that it's not, there isn't something wrong with you in the moment you feel like, oh, singled out, or you feel like you are standing out. It's important that you take care of yourself. Next slide, please. So it's very important. Apply the advice that we're giving you, us as the university and the embassy. Be careful on dating apps. Please, please, please be careful. Date people in public spaces. Don't invite them to the apartments, please. Like, be careful. Let your friends know if you're going on a date. If you decide to use dating apps, please let your friend know where you're going. Share the location. Be safe, please. And also do your research when visiting cities, new cities. Also use cautious as well when challenges people's opinion. And of course, if you're threatened, if you are in immediate danger, call the police, 112. Please also, when you're ordering off the delivery app as well, make sure that pick a contactless as well, be a contactless delivery. So people don't make the delivery people come inside your apartments, and make sure that you leave them outside. So now what do we do with all this information? You understand what are the cultural differences overall. It's important that you understand and contextualize on where you are. And with this opportunity is also an opportunity to have conversation, educate people, and have conversation with your new Italian friends. Remember, as the Student Life team, we are available for you for any of these situations. So please, you have myself, Francesca, Gianni, Maura, the AAs, Helen, Caesar, Jan, Faye. Like, we are all here to help you. You can also talk about these issues with our counselor, Lisa Gabarelli. And also, we have a great resource. Our website, we have resources on where you can find different things in the cities. Let it be regarding your spirituality, regarding community, regarding your identity. please check out this website because you can find a lot of information. And also I want to remind you that May is AAPI month, so Asian American Pacific Islanders month. And please make sure to support businesses, especially Asian businesses. We will put some links in the chat as well, and make sure as well to amplify voices as well of Asian Americans, Asian people between Italy as well as also in the US too. And we will have also a post going out created by Grace from DUJ. And please show support. Please put your question in the chat. Do not hesitate. And I want to say thank you so much for listening to this presentation.
Lovely presentation, Benita. Thank you so much. And you were talking about how the Italians are like use the more like less verbal, but more like hand gesture, right?
Yes.
We're like a society where we use our hand gesture a lot to communicate. And a few years ago, we made this fun video with Temple Rum students and staff about hand gesture. They had the opportunity to learn some of the Italian hand gesture. Let's watch it. So much fun. And before we go ahead and talk about traveling in Italy, I have Maura. Where are you, Maura?
Eccomi, here I am. So yes, I just wanted to remind everyone that travels outside of Italy for this semester are not prohibited, but we strongly discourage students from undertaking independent travels outside of the country. This is because you can have many misadventures. The risk of travel disruptions are big during this time of COVID. So this could put at risk your ability to successfully complete the semester and the program. So if you leave Italy and you have problems while you are abroad in France, in Great Britain, around Europe, you do that at your own risk. This means academically, this means financially, and from any other point of view. Our staff can offer you support, but that support will be limited, of course, and your absences from class, in case you're not able to go back for your classes will not be excused and will not be accommodated with virtual lessons. So please keep in mind that in Italy, we have many different things to see and to explore. You have 6 weeks. You can go to the seaside. You can see lakes, mountains. We have archaeological sites. We have art cities. You can really explore as much as you want to and get the most out of Italy during these 6 weeks. Gianni is going to tell you more about this and show you how many beautiful places we have around the country. So please, please consider spending these 6 weeks during the semester here in Italy to avoid any problems.
Thank you, Maura. And in fact, as Maura said, we have so many beautiful cities and places in Italy that we're going to suggest you right now. Before we move on, I want to show you the 2 main train companies where they basically go everywhere in Italy. One is called italotreno.it and trenitalia.com. Both train companies are official. They're great. They basically go everywhere in Italy. You can download the apps, buy the tickets with the apps, have the tickets on the apps, or you can print it, but it's so easy to have it on the apps and to show to the ticket collector on the train. Remember that on public transportation, which means trains, buses, local buses and metro, airplanes, an FP2 mask is mandatory at least until June 15. What I'm saying is because we don't know if from June 16, we're going to have a new decree with a different decree, different rules. Until June 15 is mandatory NFP2 mask. We also have low-cost buses going basically everywhere. I would recommend these 2 companies if you're not going too far away from Rome, but if you're going to Naples, Amalfi Coast, Florence, sometimes you can find a €6 ride on Flixbus or itabus.it. One of the most beautiful areas up in the north, the Cinque Terre, this is the right time to visit. You can take a train to La Spezia and then take a local train from La Spezia to see these 5 villages that look very beautiful. We have also the Amalfi Coast and Capri. Take a train to Salerno or Naples, and then from there you can visit the Amalfi Coast with a local bus or also ferries. All the information are easily accessible on the web, so you can find all the information you need. Again, when in Rome, when in Italy, don't you want to visit the island of Capri? It's beautiful right now. Less tourism. Bologna, it's a university city, very beautiful, small. Everything is concentrated in downtown, and it's beautiful to visit. Florence, of course, if you're going to the Museum of Uffizi, make sure that you get the tickets ahead. And then, of course, the Lake Como up in the north, if you want to like a very relaxing weekend on the lake, very nice. Matera, not very easy to get there, but it's if you Google Matera, it's the city made of stones. A lot of history behind that. I went there like in the last week, and it was beautiful. Just 2 nights. It's a great, not very easy again to get there, but you can take a train to Bari and then a local bus. Milano, of course, up in the north, a business city, but also the city of fashion, a lot of nightlife and the beauty of the happy hour, aperitivi, restaurants. Pisa, if you go to Florence, why don't you stop a day trip to Pisa? Pisa, basically, it's 3 hours there. You don't want to spend too much time in Pisa, but it's beautiful. Pompeii, Paestum, Herculaneum, again, you take a train to Naples and then a local train called Circumvesuviana. It goes to Pompeii, Paestum, and Herculaneum. Turin, where we just had the Eurovision Song Contest. It's a growing city. You have the museum, the Egyptian museums, the museums of the cinema, and the city in itself is really beauty. And then all of this Tuscany hill towns where you can also have a wine tasting events, useful websites. For you in Rome, you want to know what's happening in Rome, you can check roaming.it and you can see all the events happening in Rome. Same thing for Wanted in Rome or Tonight.it. If you want to visit the Colosseum or the Forum, Culture.it is the official website. If you want to go to the Vatican and while in Rome, of course, you want to visit the museums, the Vatican museums, the Sistine Chapel, you want to get your ticket from the official website, Vatican.va. Don't wait, because this is one of the highest season. Tourism is back to Rome and you might have some difficulties. So make sure that you book your entrances to the Colosseum, to the Vatican right now, because otherwise you might have some difficulties later on. Rome, there's a very important saying, lifetime is not enough. For those of you 6 weeks here, I know you're eager to travel all over Italy, but spend some time in Rome. Make sure that you're going to explore Rome. There's so much to see in this city, and that's why I want to show you a very short videos that represent. It's made by one of the Roman director. He's really good at this. And in a one short video, we'll show you the beauty of the city. Enjoy.
Que aprendizado na sua casa.
Isn't that beautiful? I think so. Just a few things to remind you guys. June 2nd is a national holiday in Italy. Festa della Repubblica. Everything in around Italy, most of the offices, schools will be closed except Temple Rome. Temple Rome will be open on June 2nd. On June 29, the 29th of June is actually St. Peter's and Paul's, are the saints protecting the city of Rome. It's a huge holiday in Rome, and school will be closed. Again, June 2nd, national holiday, school open. June 29, Roman holiday, school is closed. I hope this information, I know this is going to be confusing. Maybe somebody want to put in the chat just to make sure that students are aware of these two major holidays happening in the month of June. Now, do we have questions from everybody? Questions. Yes, thanks, Mary. We have classes on June 2nd, no classes on June 29. Yes, mano alzata. Olivia, can you unmute yourself and ask a question? Go for it.
So in our envelope that we had, I saw like a museum card, or it had like a portrait on it. I was just asking about that and what that does and where we can go with that.
Great questions. It's a MIC card, the museum card. Keep it with you all the time in your wallet. When you go to a museum, you can see the list of the museums where you can enter for free online. If you say MIC cards, museums in Rome, Google it, it will tell you what are the museums where you can get for free. Some other museums will give you a discount. Some museums won't accept it. So my suggestion is go online and see what museums, so you can, thanks Mary, museincomuneroma.it, you can see what museums you can enter for free. In general, have your museum card, Temple Rome, student ID with you all the time. When you get to a museum, before they issue the ticket, at the ticket counter, just show them the MIC card, Temple Rome card, student card, and say, hi, I'm a student in Rome and I have the museum card. Do we have a discount? At that point, before they issue the ticket, say, yeah, you have with the MIC card, you have this discount, or no, this is free, or you're a student, we don't accept the MIC card, but as a student, you get a discount. Again, if you get to the counter, you ask for a ticket, they issue the ticket, and then you say, I'm a student, I have the MIC card, that's it. They already issued the ticket, they cannot give you any discount. So make sure every time you go to any museum, have those cards with you to show them ahead. Okay, for class visits, reservations have been made for the group, but you must show your card. So if you're in a class and you have a class visit, you must bring your museum card with you all the time. So have in your wallet with you. I hope, Olivia, I answered your questions. Thank you, Olivia. Questions: do short pants look too touristic? It depends. Short pants. Now it's hot. You can go ahead around, right, Benedetta? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. Like, yes, you can wear them during the day. Of course, if you are going to, I would say, public places, or you go to a church, you go to an office for your internship, probably I wouldn't wear them. But there are certain styles that you can wear them. I feel like it's about the style as well and how you fit them. So I think you can still wear them. It's not that people don't wear it here in Italy. We do, but
Right.
it's like dedicated to specific time, like specific place, and depends on the style as well. Because there are also formal shorts as well that people do use incorporate in their fashion. So maybe you wouldn't use that for an occasion or an important appointment and so
No,
on.
exactly.
But
So during the
yeah,
day, it's hot, it's
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Let's say at night, if you plan to go around and have like a pizza, something, yes.
Mhm.
You plan to go to a club,
No,
no.
no,
Shorts, t-shirts, no.
no.
Too sporty shoes, no. So if you plan to go out, wear shirt, pants, or could be nice jeans, not those ripped, unless they're Prada ripped, but that's a different story. Just to wear a nice shoes, not too sporty. It could be sporty, but not too sporty, not running shoes. That's what I mean. But in general, like during the day, it's hot, you're fine. Go for it. No problem at all. Flip-flops instead might be a little too much for the city. If you're going to the beach, it's fine. Because for the Italians, flip-flops is when we go to the beach. In the city, first of all, it's uncomfortable to walk around those cobblestones with flip-flops. And also it's a beach shoe. Like there's beach shoes that we use for the beach, not for the city. Vodafone SIM card to activate it. No, you don't need to do anything tonight. They said by midnight, maybe tomorrow morning, they will be activated. The only thing that you have to do at some point, turn off and on again your iPhone, like slide it off, put it on, and make sure you turn the Wi-Fi off. At that point, if you see the 4G or 5G, depending on the area you are at, that means your SIM card is active. Download my Vodafone Italia app, click on it, and on the top right, you will see your phone number. When we go out to dinner, no jeans with rips? No, it's okay. Are there certain length dresses for dinner?
I would
Benedetta.
say no, really. Like if you go for dinner, why not? Like yeah, just Italians, we have this thing about the bella figura and being presentable. So yeah, you can wear rips. Why not? But also rips are popular here in Italy, so you can definitely wear it to go to dinner. And dresses, I think you can wear pretty much any length, probably not too short, but like a good length, like a nice, like a little black dress or whatever, like it will work, right? I feel. And also work with textures as well, guys. Like if you have to go to somewhere more formal or you have to wear something longer, like in the summer and it's hot, use textures like linen, cotton, viscose. So those that will keep you fresh. If you use polyester, you may feel a little bit a lot warmer. So I would advise you work with textures during the summer, then they will keep you nice and fresh, although you may wear something a little bit longer, please.
Actually, what Benedetta said is so true. It depends where you're going. I mean, even for clubbing, for guys, what I'm saying, like a shirt, it depends. Because if you're going to an open air club, there are going to be many. A shirt, a t-shirt is fine.
Mhm.
I mean, sometimes you also see people in shorts in an open air club. It depends what type of club. It's a fancy, nicer club. Google it. See what type of club is that. Or it's more like student type of club, youngish, then it doesn't really matter. So it more like where you're going. More questions in the chat, or unmute yourself and go ahead. So just want to warn you, like tomorrow at 1:30 today at 1:30 p.m., we're going to have the internship meeting. Don't get to school before noon because school will open at noon today. 1:30 p.m. in conference room, we're going to have the internship meeting and followed by the volunteer meeting. The internship meeting is mandatory for the interns, while the volunteer meeting is just an info session for those of you who want to hear about the volunteer opportunities at Temple Rome during the summer. Tomorrow, 8 a.m., when is the volunteer? 2:30. So 1:30 interns, 2:30 volunteers. Conference room, same room where you had Vodafone yesterday. You don't want to get at 2:30 exactly every time. You want to get 10 minutes before. Like tomorrow, we're leaving at 8 a.m., but you want to be meeting the rest of the group at 7:50 a.m. outside Temple Rome, along the river, in front of the big building, Marina. Can you hear me? Yes.
Johnny,
My
I
voice-
accidentally muted you. I don't know why.
I felt like somebody's like, Johnny, stop, your voice is like,
No.
I'm gonna mute you. That's it. So yes, tomorrow. Now, wear comfortable shoes tomorrow because you're gonna be walking. You wanna wear a jacket, maybe a jacket on the bus because the air conditioning is a lot. I don't know. It's gonna be hot, so be light. If you know that you don't feel good, you just feel sick usually on buses, why don't you get and bring your motion sickness medicine on the bus? That would be great because we're going to go on the winding road from Todi to the castle where we're going to have lunch and back. So maybe that will help. Do you need money? No, except for breakfast in Todi because everything is covered by Temple Rome. The only thing it's not covered, it's a little breakfast when we get to Todi after a couple hours. So by 10, we'll be gonna be in Todi and you're gonna have a couple hours for free to explore the city, but also to have a little breakfast there. So bring some pocket money for that. We're gonna be back by 8 p.m. to Temple Rome. And then Camplus people will have a bus from Temple Rome to Camplus, only on the way back. On the way there, Caesar will meet you all at 7 a.m. I'm not sure if Caesar is in chat right now. Caesar, if you are, he wanted to say a few words about tomorrow's meeting. If he's not, I can say that Caesar will meet at 7 a.m. Students in the lobby at Camplus, but he's leaving exactly at 7 a.m. and he will walk to Temple Rome because it takes 45 minutes walk. Okay, more questions?
Also, please, guys, don't forget tomorrow, be careful with the alcohol consumption, please, because we're gonna drink at dinner, at the lunch, and please be careful. Do not drink excessively because, as Johnny said, the roads are winding, and we don't want you puking on the bus or puking on people. So please make sure that you keep everything down and eat moderately, and also please eat moderately as well. So be very careful with the food, the alcohol consumption. Also on buses, please do not bring alcohol on the buses. If you buy wine there, you're gonna keep it downstairs. So please, 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 please be very careful and be respectful as well towards yourself, others, and the drivers as well.
Mary?
Yes, I just wanted to remind everybody the classes start Monday morning. Some of you may not have yet updated your computers with the correct time. So please don't show up to your 8 o'clock studio class at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Don't do that. So check your times. Gianni will post out a schedule, and there's a schedule posted in school of when the classes meet. So do not follow your Philly time or your California time or whatever. We're on Rome time. Classes begin at 8 in the morning, Monday, and they go till generally 7:30 in the evening. So if you're seeing something that says you have a 12 o'clock class, 12 a.m. class, there's something wrong with your computer time. So please make sure that's all clear.
Thanks,
Okay.
Mary.
Mhm.
Questions? Emma? No. Okay. All right. And then from Monday, classes are going to start. The welcome desk with our AA will be in the lounge with all your questions from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And you can also sign up for student activities. Yes, questions?
I have a brief question about the churches. For Sunday services, can we just walk in and go in the back quietly to participate?
Yes, of course, services are open to everyone. So just remember the dress code, and yeah, services are open to everyone. Maybe with the link I put in the chat, you can check the website of various churches as well, and you can see what time are the services too. So
yeah, the
you'll
same
go
would be
for it.
true for mosques or for synagogues. If you wanted to attend services, you would want to be respectful. There are services very often in English. St. Patrick's here on Via Veneto, right off Via Veneto is in English, but there's also an English church right down on the Corso. So just check it out. If you're familiar with the service that you're attending, you know, you can follow along in Italian and it won't matter, and it'll be a great cultural experience to see the slightly different things. So good question, Emma.
Questions?
I also
Okay.
have another question, but it's more of a personal one with regards to housing. Who would I talk to about that?
Housing.
Laura.
Yeah, you can
Laura.
talk to me. You can send me an email. You can
What's your
write to me in
email,
the
Laura?
chat. Yeah, my email is Maura. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Maybe that's easier.
Do any of the churches require head coverings?
No, most churches don't require head coverings, and you can have open toe shoes as well. The most important thing is the shoulders, remember, and the knees. But most of the churches do not require a covering.
So, Caesar, are you in this? No, Caesar is not. The campus open today at noon. Today, only today. Usually, as we said yesterday, Saturday and Sunday, we are always closed. So tomorrow, campus is closed. Today only, noon to 6. Okay. For the rest of the week, the campus is open Monday to Thursday, 8 to 8, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, school is closed.
I'm
Well,
sorry,
there-
I have one
Yes, go
final
ahead,
question.
Yeah.
Is there like a student directory or something like that? So we can find people and like connect with them and such? Because I'm finding in independent housing, it's been really difficult to actually connect with people because I don't live near anybody.
Yeah, there's a directory posted on campus on your way into the library. There's a visual connection there, but you'll meet people in your class. You'll meet people tomorrow on the excursion. We don't share all the emails, but we do have a Facebook group, right, Gianni? We still have the Facebook group?
No, we
And-
don't.
No? Because we're using Discourse this semester. That's right.
Discord.
Mhm.
So for those of you on Discord, you can ask a question there. We're going to post it there. We're also going to send a broadcast message on WhatsApp. But of course, you need to provide us your phone numbers through the QR code, which is in your welcome packet. So as soon as you have your Vodafone number, make sure that you fill the form. And then also by email. Of course, it's going to be a general email going out. Emma?
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And Gianni, Hallie's got a question for you.
So I have a Caesar who cannot unmute himself. Tomorrow morning, a meeting tomorrow morning. Hallie?
At 8 o'clock, we would like to depart, and that's catty corner to where the campus is. So it's at across the street from the Ministry of the Marines.
Yeah, right outside Temple Rome.
Yeah. Mhm.
If you look at along the river, you will see 5 buses parked there. You can enter one of those 5 buses, but you will see us. Remember, you're gonna be provided by FP2 masks to wear all the time on the bus. So 7:50 a.m. be at Temple Rome, right outside Temple Rome, along the river, in front of the Ministry of the Marines, to go to Todi, Titignano. It's a day trip. We're gonna leave at 8 a.m. We're gonna get to Todi. Then you're gonna explore Todi for a couple hours. We're gonna meet back on the buses at noon, going to the castle of Titignano, 45 minutes away. We're gonna have lunch all together. And then at 4 p.m., we're gonna leave from there back to Temple Rome by 8 p.m. Ciao. Have a great
Ciao,
Saturday.
everyone.
Ciao. Have a good day.
Ciao.